All right, so this is the OKAI NEON Pro. Haven't had it but for a few months. Been on the charger here for a while now, good week or so. Just been plugged in here in the shop, and that's its happy place. 95%. Never charges above that. So, yeah, 56 miles, and like I've had it for 5 months, 4 months, maybe. Pretty disappointing. So what happened was the other day, well, it's been a few weeks now, but fairly recent. I ended up at the park with my son, and there's a paved trail there. It's 8 miles long. Now I weigh 200 exactly now, about probably with the backpack I had on and everything. I was right at 220 pounds, which is what this scooter is rated for. We didn't ride the whole trail. We did like half of it. So probably around the 5 mile mark. Yeah, so let me back up. The battery was not fully charged when we started. I can't remember what it was at. 60% maybe, something like that. But I wasn't too worried about it. We're just riding this little paved trail. Like I said, we didn't do the whole thing. We're coming back. My battery is at 39%. It reads 39% on the gauge. And that's when it died. It just shut off. It was like, I'm not working anymore. So the problem is that obviously it told me I had 39% of the battery left, but it shut off. So I ended up having to push this thing a little less than 2 miles. At one point it did come back on, but it shut off again after a few minutes. And now it decides that it's fully charged at 95%. So I think there's a battery issue, though I can't prove that necessarily. But you know, what this has for batteries, it has a, what was it? Well, their website is a little misleading because it says 36 volts at one point, but when you look at the specifications of the battery, it shows that it has a 13S3P battery. So what that means is there are 13 cells in series to make a pack, and they do that 3 times. They make 3 packs that have 13 cells in series, and then they combine those 3 packs in parallel, so that ups your voltage. And the 13 in series ups your, that ups your voltage, and then putting them in parallel ups your capacity. So they say they use 21700 size cells that are made by Samsung. The problem is I don't know which Samsung cells they use. It says that it's 14.7 amp hour capacity, though in another spot on their website I saw it was rated at 9.8 amp hours. Well, without doing the math, I speculate they took 14.7, subtracted 20%. to give you a real working amp hour number, but I'm just guessing. I can't do that math in my head. But 14,000, so it's 14,700 milliamps. Well, who cares? So the way lithium batteries work is, you know, the lower the internal resistance of a dead cell, basically the faster and fuller it's going to charge. Resistance is your enemy when it comes to the life of a lithium battery. And typically what happens with a lithium battery, whenever it starts aging, the internal resistance gets high, and therefore your battery capacity is shortened. Because it shut off at 39% makes me feel like that it's having a high internal resistance, at least in some of the cells, though I can't prove that, and I'm just speculating. The thing that's confusing is that, like, if you take a cell and you put an aged cell with high internal resistance on a lithium charger, and let's say that cell is rated for 1,000 milliamps capacity. If it's aged and it's not functioning well, it will determine that it's fully charged. It'll say, okay, I'm 100% charged now. However, if you could measure the actual capacity that was pumped back into that cell, it wouldn't be 1,000 milliamps. It would be short of that, maybe 800 or 700 or 750. So your capacity actually goes down. Your useful supply of energy is diminished when the internal resistance is higher. However, the charger will not say, okay, we're done. It's 90% or 95%. No, it's still going to say 100%. It's like, hey, we're done. We're full. We're at 100% here, even though it's really not. It's at 100% of what it can give it. So why does this one tell me on this scooter that it's at 95%? I don't know. I don't really know. You don't know how this charging circuit is set up. You know, it's just puzzling to me. But I know that it won't charge to 100%, and I know that it quit working at 39%. So let's look at the emails. So here's where I sent them an email. Here was the response, just telling me to jump through all these hoops. I understand, you want a receipt. I get that, but, when this thing failed, I wasn't filming anything. I didn't have a camera with me, and I was on a trail. My son was riding his bike, and I think I ended up pushing it a little less than 2 miles to get back to the car. So being able to record the problem didn't happen, and I don't have time to go out and tool this thing around and try to film it just to satisfy their stupid requirement. But here they want, a picture of the problem. They want the VIN number, the receipt. And I did send them an attachment that had the receipt. Eventually, I had to find it. I had the VIN number, and I sent them a picture showing that it has decided that it's fully charged at 95% battery capacity. So this is their response, which has nothing to do with the problem. You understand? The problem is it stopped working. It decided the battery is dead while still reading that it had 39% capacity left. And it won't charge to 100%. It stops at 95. So they respond telling me that the scooter can run on a flat surface with a load of 75 kilograms. Now, 75 kilograms at 60% power, that's a 165-pound rider at 60% power. And the temperature is 77 degrees. So it's rated for a 220. This has nothing to do with my problem, but they're their product is rated to carry 220 pounds. And here they have these restrictions of 165 pounds at just a little over half throttle. So I'm not complaining about the distance that it travels. What I'm complaining about is that it decided the battery had no more power to give at 39% capacity. So that's their response, just to let me know what kind of rating it has for carrying a rider. 80 kilometers. I'd have to Google that one. I don't know what that is. So then after I let them know that this is a battery issue, not a range issue, they tell me I can send the scooter in for warranty. So obviously the problem with sending the thing in for warranty is that, I mean, it's a pain in the butt to ship it. It's going to cost me money to ship it. You know, I would have preferred a little back and forth and maybe, you know, just send me a replacement battery. Or I mean, I understand that maybe that's not a good policy when you're dealing with the entirety of the world, but like, I'm an aircraft mechanic. Just give me the option, right? I don't know. It irritates me. How will this ultimately play out? Well, I'm not sending it in, I'll tell you that. Probably just end up tooling around on it, and I'll probably build my own battery pack at some point whenever it gets really crappy and like I'm bored. That would be a neat YouTube video, but it's down the road. So anyway, that's just some stuff that you might want to be aware of. And it's probably not unique to the OKAI brand. I mean, Segway probably does the same thing. I don't know. I don't have any experience with any of that, but it is disappointing. It only got 56 miles on it, and I haven't had it but for a few months, and it's already decided that it wants to act up. So anyway, thanks for watching.